Dondles. I didn't see you there. As you can see, I have my piano glove on, which means that it's time for another episode of Album Review with Dondle. Now, as you know, I'm a pretty musical guy. I listen to good music. I know what music you should listen to, because I listened to it first. And this time, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the album Come On and Slam by Sledding with Calvin and Hobbes reference. Tigers. Sledding with Tigers, the Calvin and Hobbes reference band. A small time, they're going to be big soon, a band sledding with Tigers. So you watch the Sledding with Tigers, you listen to their album, Come On and Slam, and I'm going to go ahead and get real right now. I'm not going to sugarcoat this album. This album is real. This album is hard. This album is one of the saddest albums I've ever listened to. If you're trying to get good feels in your mind gullies, this isn't the album for you, and I'm sorry. This isn't a good album. I'm smiling because I don't know what else to do. So I'm going to go through track by track and sort of go over this album and what it was like when I was listening to it. And then I'm going to rate the album on a scale. And then I'm just going to talk about if it's... I know music, and you know that you should listen to music that I like. And so I'm going to go ahead and tell you now that I like this album. So maybe you people should just click that pause button. You can click anywhere on the YouTubes for the pause button. You hit the space button, does pause on YouTube too, in case you didn't know. And on the loading screen, and when it's doing the loading, you can play, if you hit down key, you can play Snake. And that's cool. If you play Snake during my album review video or my other videos, you can play Snake while I'm talking about my videos. How cool is that at the same time? I really like doing that. But yeah, this album review by Sledding with Tigers, Come On and Slam. This album is sad. The first song, Retirement, focuses on a famous basketball player who wants to retire. And he wants to play golf. But the song tells you that that's weird and that's lame, and the song really puts off this message that because he's tall or was a basketball player, that he shouldn't be allowed to play golf. And I listened to that and I was a little put off at first. But I thought maybe there would be some good message at the end. Hint, hint, there isn't. So the next song focuses on, it's my personal favorite song. It focuses on poor old Mr. Swackhammer. Poor old Mr. Swackhammer. Sorry, his name reminds me of pirates. And I like pirates. And snakes. But he owns an amusement park in the far-off space town. And his amusement park is not good. I'll just leave it at, it's not a good amusement park. And if that isn't sad enough, he's about to get foreclosed and nobody's going to his park anymore. So he sends the only 4 friends he has left in the world to the Earth place, to Earth world, in order to get a new attraction for his amusement park. And this is really, we really look at it from Mr. Swackhizzle's perspective. He's really sad. And that's really sad to me. I really empathize with him because I grew up in not so great of a neighborhood, and I know what it's like to have an amusement park that's going to get shut down and you only have a couple friends left, and you send them on to they go to help you, and then I don't know. We'll talk more about Mr. Sukhammer after I go through more of the songs. So the next 2 songs both sort of bring back the theme from the first song, and they really showed me the main point of this whole concept album, an album about a story. It's a story in an album. It's actually, each of the songs is related and tells a story as it goes through the album. It's a concept album. I know about music, so I know what those are. So this concept album, you listen to it, and these next two songs are both about characters that want to play basketball, or maybe not, they don't. The first song focuses on the Bill Murray. And the Bill Murray wants to play basketball, but they say, no, you're no good to play basketball. No basketball for you. You're too short to play basketball. Which is really sad. It's really, really sad. He's not good enough to play basketball just because he's short. Even the song itself mentions an exception, but apparently Bill Murray doesn't count. The Bill Murray doesn't count as an exception to play basketball. So the next song is about these little alien guys that came, and they're challenged to a game of basketball just because they're short, and so they must not be good at basketball. Now, the weird thing about these two songs is that both of these groups of characters, the Bill Murray and the alien friends, end up playing basketball. However, in the finale, the Bill Murray, he plays basketball, but he's just an extra slab of meat. He's not actually good at the basketball. There's no real lesson there except like they need one more player, so they throw in the Bill Murray so that they don't lose by forfeit, which is weird. It made me sad because, I really wanted the Bill Murray to have his chance to shine in an album like this. And then the short alien friends actually give up on being short in order to play basketball well. They change their physical attributes to play basketball, but they still lose. These characters still aren't good at the basketball, which leads me to the main point of the album, is that you're born the way you are. You're born being good at something, and if you're born into a certain status, nothing's really going to change that. You can't go back up to the top, Dondles. I mean, you'd think that they're playing basketball again, like, whoa, yeah! Good message, they're good at basketball, showed everyone else wrong. No, that's not how it is, my viewers, it's sadder than that. No matter what they do, I mean, their magical powers and everything, they're not good enough to play basketball as the people that are naturally good at it. And I think you can see that in the real world in a lot of ways, and it speaks this real message about life. And the rest of the album just keeps playing that message. Charles Barkley, he's not good enough to play basketball anymore. He's out of that league. He'll never be back. Charles Barkley loses his career, really. And then all it takes for the other characters, the good guys, to be good at basketball is a montage, a 25-second montage song, and then they win the big game at the end. And these other characters, they're using these magical powers and making themselves tall and not short and, physically what basketball should be, still aren't good enough just because of how they started. And it makes me want to cry. So this album, it's pretty good. If I were to rate this album, I would give it a solid, the secret reveal Dondle rating. Nine out of 12. I did write 9 out of 11, but I realized just now that we don't really know what happens to Mr. Swashbuckler. What happens to Mr. Skycamera? The album never really touches on him again. Does he get to see his friends again? I think it's a big mystery, and maybe they meant to leave it as a mystery, but really, other than that, this is some of the greatest writing I've ever seen. 2015 is really the year for creativity, and I don't think anybody can dispute that. at all.
I think that story has been done before, though.
What?
I mean, you know, the movie that came out in the 90s, Space Jam, Space Jizzle, Space...
You mean that Bugs Bunny movie, the Looney Tunes?
Yeah, the Fruity Loop, yeah.
No, this isn't the same movie. This is a completely different thing. I think you were just in and out listening.
It's the same story.
It's not the same story.
My grandchildren watched it. And,
it's a very different story.
no, it's the same thing.
This is original writing. Okay, no, this is the end of that video. The album got a 9 out of 12. It was very original writing, not about Looney Tunes. If it is, and someone can prove me wrong, then you're still wrong, because I do album reviews and I know things about music. So, whatever. I'm Dondle out.